This video was inspired by suggestions made by David Shadwar in the comments section. Thanks. Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about how we can improve our magic, and more specifically the stories that we tell with our magic. Now by story I don't mean a story like Sam the Bellhop, or about that time that a guy shuffled my cards face up into face down. When I say story, I'm talking about the experience that we share with our audience. I've been reading a couple books on screenwriting lately, and I'm interested in the ways that their lessons can be applied to magic, or more specifically, the stories that we tell through magic. Two books in particular got me thinking about magic. They are The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell and Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. Both books look to compelling stories that have been told, especially in movies, and find aspects of those stories that happen to be similar across the board. In the case of Save the Cat, Snyder actually makes a beat-by-beat formula that he believes contains all of the elements needed in a financially successful Hollywood script. Now, I don't believe that magic has any type of a set formula. It's difficult, in general, to agree on what magic is in the first place. Is it as simple as entertaining deception? Does the trick have to include something impossible to be called magic? Or is the improbable magic? All of that is up for debate and is probably a good discussion topic for another time. My question is, can we identify the beats in a piece of magic, and would it be helpful to duplicate those beats in another piece of magic? Chris Kenner was the first person I've ever heard talk about a piece of magic like this. In an interview, he used the example of the vanishing bottle. In the classic presentation, the magician shows a bottle of ketchup. He then places the bottle on a paper bag, announcing that it has vanished. With hardly any proof as to its disappearance, he causes the bottle to return, removes it from the bag, and bows. This usually prompts polite applause and possibly a bit of laughter with a stray heckle. So the magician offers to do it again. He claims to make the bottle vanish. He then very carefully turns the bag over, proving it to be empty. Sometimes the audience will even call out that he's holding the bottle inside the bag. To prove that it is actually gone, he then crumbles the bag, showing that the bottle has indeed vanished. Chris Kenner then talked about how he applied these beats to his own material. Personally, I have used these same beats to magically solve a Rubik's Cube. A while back, I came across a clever method to instantly solve a Rubik's Cube. This was already a good trick, but there was very little to it. The audience didn't care if I got up on stage, showed a mixed Rubik's Cube, and solved it. So I borrowed a few beats from the vanishing ketchup bottle. This is how I now perform it. I introduce a mixed cube. It goes into a paper bag. I claim that it has been solved by magic, but I don't prove it. I then claim that it has been mixed by magic and show the cube to be mixed. This is followed by a few polite chuckles. The cube goes into the bag again. I claim that it has been solved. I then remove a solved cube from the bag. I pretend as if I have another cube in the bag and crush it. Other versions of the bag solve have been used by Takemi's Usui and Stephen Brundage, but for me, taking the beats from the vanishing ketchup bottle helped to make this routine much better. The audience laughs at the beginning, or at least rolls their eyes. Then they are amazed, and when the bag is crushed, the surprise punctuates the trick. This proves the obvious method of two cubes and provides a good applause cue. I spoke with a well-known magician about these ideas, and he said, the vanishing bottle doesn't work because of its beats, it works because it's a good trick. I think this is true. Following the beats of a presentation will not make a bad trick good, but I do believe that it provides dramatic structure for a trick that may not have a strong structure. In a short video, it may be easy to say, here's a bottle, now it's gone, but in a formal performance on stage or otherwise, you have other dramatic tools at your disposal, and it may be good to play around with those tools. Let's look at another performance of magic that has a classic structure. The way that the invisible deck is usually presented is like this. An invisible deck is introduced, the card is selected from this so-called invisible deck and kept in mind. The magician then reveals an actual deck of cards, the selection is named, and the card is revealed. If I was to break this down into beats, I would say that the spectator is asked to play along, a choice is made, the prediction is introduced, and the prediction is revealed to be correct. That's a strong structure, and it became apparent when I adopted that structure to another card trick. I've been doing Kenton Epper's Colossal Killer for years, and sometimes it would work out, and sometimes it would not. Sometimes it would play really well, and sometimes it would end and kind of fizzle out. People would offer their guesses as to what the method was, and it just never played as well as I thought it should. The way that I used to perform it is like this. I'd toss my wallet on the table and announce that I had a prediction inside. Then I'd have them choose a card and I'd reveal it. So the beats were this. Prediction was made, the choice is made, and the prediction is shown to be correct. After watching Nick Locapo's handling of the effect, I have changed the beats to echo that of the invisible deck. I announce that I will read the spectator's mind, so that's me asking them to play along. They think of a card, that's the choice being made. I then introduce my wallet as a prediction, and I reveal the card as predicted inside my wallet. It seems like a small thing to change things up like this, but since I have, the reactions to Colossal Killer have been much stronger and much more consistent. So how can you improve your magic? Well, you can start by being aware of the different beats in your magic performance. If a trick isn't really working, try adopting the beats from another piece of magic. Look to the classic pieces of good magic for your inspiration. What beats are in a trick like Professor's Nightmare? Can those beats be adapted to another trick like a Torn and Restored card? Sure, I think that Blake Voigt's Reform does just that. Could you do a card trick with the same beats as a Torn and Restored newspaper? Yeah, I believe that Di Vernon's Triumph follows very similar theatrical beats to Slidini's newspaper tear. Remember, there isn't just one formula that works for all tricks, but just like the stories of Hercules, Harry Potter, and Luke Skywalker follow similar patterns, it makes sense that different pieces of magic might follow patterns as well. Also, adapting the structure of a great trick to a mediocre effect may improve the effect, but it will not make a stinker a great piece of magic. No doubt, there will be a group of magicians out there that will disagree with this whole line of thinking. If you disagree, don't hesitate to make your case. If you find the thoughts in this video to be helpful, or you think of other examples of tricks that share similar structures, please feel free to share your thoughts below. If you find this kind of video helpful, give it a like, make sure to subscribe, and let me know that you enjoyed it so we can make more like it in the future.